welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live. We've got We've got a full squad in tonight. We're joined by Jason Pettigrove. How you doing, Jason?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How about you?
Good? I'm good. It's good. I'm good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be here. Looking forward to a bit of jousting with my Arsenal friends sitting beside you.
Yeah, we've evened it up. We've brought super fan Reyes into the frame as well. So it's 2-2. Although a part of me is it's sad that you took one of our players, but I mean sometimes it's better. It's for the good of the team. And of course, I'm joined by Reyes again. How you doing, Reyes?
I'm very well, thank you, Kieran. I'm happy to be back on that show again. And I'm happy to team up with Jason, actually.
Already you're making allegiances. I don't like it. I don't like it.
It used to be me and you, Kieran. It's happy to be with Steve and Kieran. Now it's totally blown out the window now.
We're all Team Reyes here.
Yeah,
yes, it is. Honestly, when Reyes comes on the show, the comment section goes crazy. So it's good to have him back. And of course, we're joined by my co-host Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, looking forward to tonight. See what the boys have got to say about ex-player and the other stuff that went on in the transfer window. So yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, there's plenty to talk about. But first of all, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there wondering how you became a Barcelona fan, Jason. Could you tell us, please?
Yeah, I'll try and shortly. We're just talking about it off air, but I didn't know until after I started following Barcelona properly in 2007. My first game was Messi's hat-trick against Real Madrid. Went out there for my birthday. That was the weekend after my son had walked out on West Ham. He was at West Ham's academy for a few years. But he'd been bullied really badly by the coach. Coincidentally, actually, Steve won't like this. He was an Arsenal coach that got sacked for the same thing.
Dragging us through the mud. I see. Get it in early doors. I see what you're doing.
So it's basically we'd followed West Ham all our lives, whole family West Ham fans, and then that really put us off. And a lot of my friends at the time were saying, "How can you not follow the club just because of what's happened to your kid?" And I couldn't really get to that point of view. But I spoke to Troy Townsend, Andros's dad.
Yeah,
and he's got exactly the same feelings about Spurs because of the way they treated Andros. Because, as I found, if someone says to you, "Kids aren't good enough," you can find somewhere else. I haven't got a problem with that. I don't think my kid's a superstar. I just want people to be honest, and they weren't honest, and it kind of put me off the club and the way they deal with things. And obviously, you got this Zuma thing as well that's just come out like yesterday. They then putting him in the club are awful, but I don't want to talk about West Ham. That's the reason why I started following Barcelona rather than West Ham. But then my dad told me when I was about 5 or 6, we went to Spain, and the first shirt I ever had was a Cruyff Barcelona shirt. I had Barcelona posters on my wall. So maybe subconsciously they were a first love. And West Ham, we followed them because they were the local team. And then obviously that happened with my eldest. And that's 15 years ago next month. So I've been following them ever since. I've obviously worked for Barcelona for a few years. Been to the Champions League final, so we're all good.
I mean, you've done it well. You picked your timing right, and then you followed it through as well. You've written a book about Messi. I mean,
here for Reyes, it's going in the post.
Oh, look at that! It's honestly so happy. Yeah. So you've done it. You crammed in 15 years what most fans couldn't even cram in a lifetime of being a fan.
Yeah, like you said, been very lucky. The timing has been just amazing. It was just lucky. I mean, with the Champions League finals, I actually got the tickets for those because I belonged to the official supporters club. I didn't get them because I worked with the club. I would never have got them. But 3 Champions League finals, including the one at Wembley, which I think most people would agree was probably the best ever club performance in a European final. And then I think it was a 2018 Copa del Rey final I got to as well when they beat Sevilla 5-0. Again, just football like you dream of and will never be seen again by anybody, not Barcelona, not any club. Just really nice memories, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what you mean. My one nice memory of Barcelona and Arsenal was when we we beat Barcelona 2-1, and that was
Yeah.
it. The final ruined that. We won't go on to that. Reyes, you look too happy right now. Tell us how you came to support Barcelona, Reyes. And I know you're from Valencia, so it's not as cut and dry as what most people are thinking right now.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Valencia.
Well, yeah, I know that. I know that by the city I was born, I should be following Valencia, but no, I grew up in an environment where all my brothers were following Barcelona, and it was right at the time where they won the first Champions League, which is also another era, no? And it was one of the greatest as well at the time.
Boy, what a time! What a time!
Yes, and then I'm also lucky enough to have lived with Guardiola era and then Luis Enrique, which obviously that was my mature life, and I followed the team all the way. I was watching all the games and I was jumping in all the bars I went, in every goal they scored, because that was football. That was perfect. That final against Sevilla, that's also one of the best performances I ever seen. It's incredible. For me, that was it. I grew up in an environment with Barcelona supporters, and I was gonna be the same. And at the end of the day, I follow the same philosophy. I like the honesty. I like how they treat people, and I like the way how they play. That's the most important part for me. Otherwise,
the important thing as well, isn't it, Ray? Is it's the values that the club have. And it runs right through the club, from the players to the staff to the way that they treat their supporters and everything else. And I think with certain English clubs, you don't tend to find that. I think that's a lot of what drew me to them as well.
Do you find that it's coming back more with Xavi there, or has it always been there throughout?
I'll let Reyes answer that first.
I'll say that we lost the touch when Bartomeu became a president of the team. I think they pretended to change the old ways just to make it a little bit more modern, but they made a mistake. And now that Laporta is back and Xavi is supporting the ideas of Laporta, or either way, I think the team is gonna get back to where it was a couple of years ago. But we just need to give them time, and I think that was something that it made me lose a little bit of interest on the team, on Barcelona. But I'm here, I'm back, and I'm gonna support them all the way again.
All right, Jason, what's your thoughts on it? Go on.
No, I'd agree completely with that. I think it started to go pear-shaped when Sandro Rosé became in charge, and then obviously, as Reyes would know, Bartomeu unilaterally took over the presidency, which he wasn't allowed to do. Really, it's not in the club statutes. There should have been a presidential election at that point. There wasn't, because Bartomeu was Rosé's running mate and just took over. And he's almost ruined the club. Obviously, they were virtually bankrupt when Laporta came back in. It's going to take a while. I think when you had me on last time, we said they can't expect miracles immediately. It's going to take 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 seasons. I suppose the good thing is what we can see with Laporta already. It's some of the business that they've been doing off the pitch, like the Spotify deal. I don't know if they announced it today. I know they were supposed to, but I've been out all day. But even something like that, I mean, 300 million, I think, is a rough guide to what they're going to have over the next 3 seasons, and then more beyond that. So we're starting to get the money back in off the pitch. Xavi's starting to bring back in the sort of the good feelings on the pitch. So I think, given time, I can't see why we won't be back up there in 2 or 3 years.
What's your thoughts on the Spotify naming deal? Has there been a split in the fan base with that, or is it unified that actually this is what Barcelona need to move forward and get over these debts?
If you asked any Barcelona fan, they would say that they never want a sponsor. For over 100 years, we didn't have a sponsor on the shirt, and it was beautiful. Everyone loved the Barcelona shirt because it was clean, it was pure.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, forget the fact that we owe over €1 billion. In this day and age, it's a revenue stream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a must.
And to be quite frank, if we've got to have a sponsor, which we do have, I'd much far rather have something like Spotify than Qatar Airways on the front of the shirt. So for me, it's a recognised brand. Maybe they'll even do something if you're like associate, a member, that they'll give you discounts for streaming. I don't know what will happen, but I just think it looks nice on the shirt from the mock-ups we've seen already. So, and to me, that's the money for Haaland. That gives us a very good chance now of positioning us. If he doesn't choose us, I can deal with that. But the fact that we'll be getting some money in and we can leverage that we're in the game now, that we've got the money to bring you in, it's down to you. That's fantastic. Considering where we were 6 months ago, we're like light years forward in that short space of time.
It's gone well quick. It's like it felt like Barcelona were only trying to sign 3 players. Were being linked to players that you just wouldn't have thought that they'd be going for, and then all of a sudden you get Ferran Torres. You're thinking Dani Alves. How's this going to work? But you saw from the result the other day that he's starting to pull something together. First of all, before we get on to the new transfers, Grace, what was your thoughts on the Spotify renaming of the stadium?
I think Jason was also right what he was saying, but I was happy with the sponsor when we had the deal with UNICEF. I think that was actually one of the best things that Barcelona did in the last decade of the team. I think that was a very good deal. Spotify, I think Barcelona supporters should change their mind about now that the financial issues, we should get them fixed in some way, and probably that's the only way to bring in money. Money to try to bring out other players to make a name and see if the people can support a little bit more in other places. I think it is a good deal. I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather get Spotify than Qatar Airways. But no, I'm happy with the deal as long as they don't change their mentality of bringing players with the same philosophy, with the same thoughts, with the same energy that will team up with the rest of the guys. That's all we need. Apart of that, I'm good. I'm happy with that.
100%. Jason, you spoke about Erling Haaland, the striker that everyone's after, but no one can really afford at the end of the season. It's like he's on a silver platter with the release clause, yet all of that behind, which is the agent's fees, the wages, the dad's fees, like don't know what that is, and all the rest. It feels like a transfer which is within your grasp, but is it still there, Jason?
I think it is. I mean, I say we're going to get rid of Dembele. Who knows? He might have a decent half season with Aubameyang, and then maybe he changes his mind in the summer. Personally, I'd like to see him go. I don't like his attitude, but we'll move on to Dembele later. But the fact that if he does go, we save on his wages, number one. There's plenty of other players, particularly in attack, that I think they can get rid of. So I think the money's there. It's one of those deals that when you hear about the things like you've just said there, like the dad's fees and all stuff like that, and you're thinking, for goodness sake, man, it's just a football. But do you want to play for the club or not? But unfortunately, in the modern era, that's how it is. Players are trying to maximise their earning potential. Agents, I suppose, have always been sort of the bane of the game in terms of your football clubs think they're a necessary evil, don't they? I think the deal's there to be done. I think Laporta's relationship with Raiola actually gives him the edge over everyone else, and I think because we get De Ligt as well. If we go for De Ligt, I think we'll get him. Maybe I don't know. I'm just sort of clutching at straws, but the way I can see it is if we can get De Ligt, who's a Raiola client. There's talk of Donnarumma possibly, who's a Raiola client. Are we getting into bed with Raiola in order for him to smooth the way with Haaland?
I mean,
I think if you get Haaland, then that's sort of the catalyst for everyone else to come, isn't it? Really, But
did you hear what Piqué said the other week as well? When he said if Haaland wants to win the Ballon d'Or, then don't go to Real Madrid. I mean, he would say that, but Piqué's he's the best ambassador that the club's ever had. But he could go to Real Madrid with Mbappe and have a dream front two, but he's not going to be the main man. The cachet that Barcelona give him is he's going to be the main man at Barcelona. He's going to be I don't want to use the new Messi, but that's kind of how it's going to be. He is the man, as Steve just said. So
yeah, and I mean, you can kind of deal with having Raiola in the background for the next 5 years if you're bringing in De Ligt, Donnarumma, and Haaland. I mean, that kind of solidifies the La Liga. If you can bring those 3 players into your spine of your team, that's an unreal team. Just those 3 in the team added to Barcelona's current squad right now. How good would that be, Reyes, to add those 3 players to Barcelona's current squad?
That would be amazing if we can have them 3. But I think we need to be realistic as well. Yes, we're looking at good players to be part of the team, but we still need to be realistic. I don't think that financially we can hold them off for such a long period of contract. It's impossible for me. And here I think is where the main man for me in the deals that could happen in the future is Mateu Alemany. I think he is the guy. He is the one who can manage to bring at least 2 out of 3 of those 3 players. He is the one who actually can get a nice deal, as I think in the way how he did it with Aubameyang during this winter window. The same with Adama. It's impossible to kind of mentally convince the player that with a low wage you're going to be a nice or a good player for the team, and I think he did it. And well, it would be amazing to have them, all of them, but I don't think so.
How do they have that pull, Jason, to be able to get these players on such low wages? I mean, Aubameyang went from 350 to 75% pay cut, I think I heard, and then Adama Traore, Tottenham offered quite a substantial amount. Yes, they were trying to pay him in a right wing back role, but then he went to Barcelona, and I'm hearing reports that he's on 15k a week. It's nothing to turn your nose up at, but we're talking about modern day football, and that's an apprentice fee in the Premier League.
I don't know with Adama, and again, it's only me surmising. I think there may be a sweetener in there. It's like, come to us.
It has to be.
At this price, and then come the summer when we've got some money, we'll look after you. That's only my guess at Traore. Aubameyang, I'm not really sure, but in terms of how do Barcelona get these, it's Barcelona. It's the same as like it's Real Madrid. No, but it's true though, isn't it? They're 2 of the most sort of storied European clubs, and even when earlier on in the season, we're sitting down in 8th, 9th, 10th place. And people are like, man, it's Barcelona. What are they doing down there? Because they expect us to be in the top 2 or 3 places all the time. Man United used to be like that. Arsenal used to be like that. And unfortunately for both clubs, it's gone for the moment. They can get it back. But, there's clubs dotted around. PSG, maybe not so much, because there isn't a lot of competition behind them in Liga 1.
Yeah.
You can go with Barcelona right back to when Cruyff signed in the 70s. Then you've got the dream team. And then obviously, as Ray has noted, like the Guardiola era, the Luis Enrique era, there's a real, I suppose there's an emotional pull there. And obviously there's the weather, there's the beach there. I mean, it's got everything. Barcelona is one of the best cities in Europe.
Yeah.
I love going. It's got...
No, I was just saying, I get the feeling Barcelona got a massive chance because, I've heard Laporta speak, very recently, and he seems very confident that he can get Haaland to me with the wording that he uses. So, as you've already said, Raiola, they're very friendly, and it seems to me that he will be going to Spain to one or the other. To me, it's hard to see Mbappe and Haaland in the same team. To me, it don't fit. And also, you've still got Benzema at Madrid. So you add in another one there. So with all the sort of the rumblings that's coming out, I mean,
I always said-
Barcelona,
I think I
to me,
said to you last
seems to be the place.
I think I said to you last time, I always thought that was the reason that they didn't tie Messi down. I think that they realised perhaps longer term they could get Haaland if certain things fell into place, but there's no way they could get him if Messi was still there. So they had to take perhaps a strategic decision. I don't know what Reyes thinks, but as soon as he didn't sign on that very last day, that was in my head. There's something bigger further down the line. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Reyes, what's your thoughts on that?
I think he's right, but I cannot hide my feeling about being upset of Messi leaving the team.
Still hurting. Still hurting.
Yeah, I feel the pain. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough decision, but or we take it or we lose a couple of years more after Messi decides to retire in the team. So yeah, I mean, I was more in the case of blaming Laporta because of that, because he seemed very consistent in the wording that he used to say, yeah, we'll keep Messi. But then the last day, it was like, oh, everything is falling apart. So I was surprised about it. And that is what hurt me a lot. But yeah, I can see that maybe in the future, which is in a short term, there's something big coming on. And it could be Haaland, which I will be happy to. That will bring a top star, and that will be another attitude in the team as well. And probably what Xavi needs now.
Yeah, definitely. He does. You can't keep scrimping around and doing wheeler dealer deals like Harry Redknapp. He's better than that. He didn't come over because of Tar to do that. So, but there's a lot of other players in your team that are starting to come through that are going to have that the Barcelona DNA in them. Gavi is one of them. Is there any worries that he's not going to sign this new deal? Or yeah, there we go. It's 100% staying. Yeah, no worries.
I mean, I'd be shocked, really shocked, if he signed anywhere else. I know Liverpool want him, but he and Ronald Araujo, they've all come out in the media and said they want to stay. It's just a question of, they want their importance in the team now. They want to be paid accordingly, and that's fair enough. But I don't see that there'll be any issues with constructing the deal for them, even if it means, again, just in the short term, maybe the next few months or a year, they get paid slightly less to earn a bit more later on. I'd be they've got it. They've got everything there. They've got the importance in the team already. Laporta, I'm sure, has been saying to them, these are the players we're going for in the summer. This is what we're going to have around you. Why would they want to go anywhere else?
Yeah. Do you think there's an element of them coming through and the new players that have joined, the ones that have joined on the free, feeling that they could be the start of the rebuild to take Barcelona back to the top?
Yeah, I think so. Again, we go back to the whole timing issue. As long as the Camp Nou, because they are bloody impatient sometimes, as long as they give them that time to bed in. And I mean, at the start of the season, Reyes, I know, will agree with me. Gavi wasn't even really a regular Barca B, and all of a sudden he's just come out of nowhere. But he's taken his chance with both hands, both feet. He's now a shoe-in every single week. There's no way you're getting him out of that team, and he'll be a regular for Spain by the time of the World Cup as well. 17 years of age, and
he glides around the pitch.
Yeah. And I'm going to relate him back to Dembele in the sense of that's the attitude that we all want to see from Barcelona players, not the attitude that Dembele's had for 4 years, where he just sort of jogs around if he can be bothered. Gavi's there, he's biting at players' heels all the time. He runs from the first minute to the last minute, and that's what you want to see.
But Reyes, doesn't this show that's where Barcelona should be looking for their future? I think I said it before. Should they not be looking to build from within? Players that have come through La Masa, players that know the identity of the club and what it means to play for the club, that at 17 he's nipping around and biting ankles, or you could pay 120 million for a player who in the 4 years has failed to deliver what you expected.
But that is what we lost when the Laporta era finished at the time. We thought that we were going to be making a good team by buying players and losing the philosophy of the club, and that is our mistake in the past. But yes, I think we are back to normal. Even though we had a little bit of a disturbing situation, I think last year with, and I'm gonna put here another player in the toast is Ijais Moriba, who left to sign for Leipzig and then he's back to Valencia. Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens to him?
Yeah,
Patience. It's got to be patience, surely.
but then you see again, he's not having the attitude that Gavi has or Nico, the new youngsters that are coming up from the Barcelona B. I mean, we need that kind of feelings in the team again. And I'm lucky that at the end of the day, Laporta was strong enough to say, "Oh, you take this, or you leave." Ija is left. Good decision, I think, in my opinion, but that's not going to happen with Araujo, Gavi, or even Nico.
Yeah, because they're not on silly money, and they've seen what could happen to you if you are going to try and push for that extra bit of money or guarantees of the first team. Like, no, you've got to bide your time.
I mean, can I ask one question? It's just, I think with Barcelona, it seems to me it's all about replacing greats, and we're looking at hopefully Haaland replacing Messi. You've also got Busquets in the middle of the park there, who will need replacing. Now, can Pedri replace Busquets? And also at the back, you got PK and Jason. You've already mentioned there, with De Ligt. Do you think these can be replacements in like a year down the line?
Yeah, well, Nico will probably replace Busquets. And then we've got obviously De Jong, Pedri. The midfield would be as strong as midfielders we'll have had a few years ago. I think the good thing I like about Barcelona is they never, or they shouldn't, they did change their style a bit under a couple of the last managers, but Barcelona's style rarely changes. So unlike a lot of clubs where you get a manager come in and then he wants to play a style different to the one before, and then they buy players to fit that style, everybody knows what the Barcelona style is. And so they only buy players or bring players through that can play that style. It never deviates. So the guys that are coming up from La Masia, the likes of Nico, Gavi, we've got Abde, Ferran Jutgla, who's another attacker. You can slot straight in. They've played for the B team or the under-19s, but they go straight into the first team and they know exactly how to play straight away. There's no bedding in period. And then the other players that come in, they should, like with Laporta, Alemany and the others, only bring players in that they know are going to fit Barcelona's system. Which is why I don't understand why they brought Aubameyang.
So let's get on to that because I want to hear both of your opinions on it. But first of all, I want to go to you, Jason. It was on, off. And I feel like from what you said so far, you was happy when it was off more than you was happy when it was on.
Yeah, well, I watched you guys, didn't I, when you did the Arsenal show and you saw my comments pop up. I've put a few notes up here, so apologies for looking up. But so he's 32 already, he'll be 33 in the summer, number one.
Yeah.
The attackers that we've already got before we signed him, Ferran Torres, Martin Braithwaite, Luke de Jong, Memphis Depay, Ansu Fati, Dembele, Abde and Ferran Jutgla. Now, okay, some of those are injured, but we've got more than enough attackers to be spread out across the front three. Did we need to buy him? I don't think so. The problem I have is that he doesn't assist much. So I think he's 8 assists in 3 seasons. He's lost a yard of pace, which we saw already against Atletico Madrid. Okay, maybe he needs a bit of match fitness, but I think I'm right in saying, and Steve's nodding his head, before Arteta knocked him out of the team, he wasn't really getting in positions. His eye for goal, it was a little bit off. And his attitude. Again, it's the Dembele thing again. Players with that sort of shrugging their shoulders attitude and can't be asked or off the pitch, that's not the Barcelona way. They're not the kind of players we want. Maybe they look past it if he bangs in the goals, but maybe they've brought him in for next season rather than this season if they don't get big players like Haaland, but then they offload De Jong and Braithwaite, then maybe he comes into his own. But to me, it wasn't a deal that needed to be done. I don't know why they did it.
what's the Aubameyang deal to Barcelona? How long was the contract?
Yeah, as far as I was aware, it's 18 months, so the end of next season.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got him for next season guaranteed. Whether that will stop a Haaland deal coming to fruition, I doubt it. Considering what you saved on his transfer fee and his wages as well, because even for underperforming Aubameyang, to cut his wages that much is a big deal. It'll be interesting to see whether.
Sorry, is there a way of looking at it? Obviously, him and Dembele had a fantastic relationship at Dortmund.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
they're friends.
Maybe winning the Europa League, and they feel that they've got a better chance. That they knew Dembele wasn't going to go because obviously he wants the money, so he was going to stay for this last 6 months. Just throw all the eggs in one basket and see where it lands. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. Reyes, what's your thoughts on the Aubameyang signing?
My thoughts about it is, we might not need Aubameyang, but we need a striker, definitely. So whether it's Aubameyang or other striker, I think for what it was in the market, probably not one of the best, but I could say that he could perform if Guardiola. Sorry, forgive me for that. If Xavi can fit in the team Aubameyang, I think he's going to be doing very well. I watched him on the game against Atletico de Madrid, and I think the team was unlucky because obviously Dani Alves was sent off, so they had to step back and defend a little bit more aggressively rather than going in the same way or in the way that Xavi wants to attack. Obviously, Aubameyang was the only one, and he did a couple of runs, which I quite like that because having the young who has no pace. So I was surprised to see someone running for the ball, and that's Aubameyang. No? Also, Ferran Torres did a couple of them, and it was good to see that in the team. Whether it's a good sign or not, we'll see. But I would not say a completely no, because we need to trust our players too and see how they perform. If the balls get into the box, I think Aubameyang will be there to score them, or at least to put that attitude to be the big man in the box. I will see what happens. Yes, but I think we need a better striker than Aubameyang, or at least a top performer. But that's hard to find now without any money.
Yeah, and especially in the January transfer window as well. Another player you've signed, you re-signed Adama Traore. He's a lot of people like him in the Premier League. He's powerful. He's got good pace, dribbling skills. His end product's not the best, but
that's the understatement of the night, I think.
He managed to get across. He managed to whip in a cross on his debut, though, didn't he?
I wrote an article for an outlet the week he signed, saying it was the worst signing we could have made, and I was using his output. So I'm looking at it here. So in his entire time in England, so from 2015-16, so Middlesbrough, Villa, and Wolves, 17 goals and 34 assists in 6 whole seasons, and he didn't assist actually in his last 20 games for Wolves. So the assist he got against Atleti was his first for effectively 21 games. He has got pace. He's obviously put on a lot of muscle since he left us. And his game's very much the same as it was when he was with us as a younger player. Pace to burn, knock it past, get the ball in. But very rarely before he left was there an end product. I don't see the end product in the Premier League. Yes, he provided the assists at the weekend, but that's one game. Again, we're getting him for next to nothing. So in the situation we're in, maybe it does make good business sense. But just like Dembele, he's lightning fast Dembele, but very rarely did he have an end product. I suppose the difference with him is he cost over 100 million, and Dama's probably going to cost 25, 30 if we get him. Yeah. I hope he does well. He's homegrown. He's come back home. I'd like to be proved wrong. Again, we can only wait and see. A bit like Reyes was saying, we've got to trust in the club, trust the players to do the business, and go from there.
When Tottenham were after him, they, we heard that Conte wanted him as a wing back, like as a versatile player, and not really to sort of play every week. Could that have been why Barcelona bought him, and they can play someone else out there?
I don't think so. I think he wanted to go to Spurs. I think it was purely down to negotiation. Spurs offered 15 million. Wolves wanted 20 million. Barcelona came in, obviously did a slightly different deal. I haven't read anything or heard anything or seen anything that it was anything to do with the position that he was going to be played. As far as I'm aware, it was purely down to the fact that Spurs were stalling over money, which, I guess you can't blame Daniel Levy for being his usual self, but then it left Spurs in an awkward position in terms of getting people in and out on deadline day. They could have had Adama wrapped up before anyone else became interested.
Yeah, but he's tight. Like, he's tight. No matter what I was hearing about Conte going to there, I was like, it's going to end in tears, because in the end, Levy will get as much as he can get out of Conte, and then the purse strings will tighten, and then Conte will throw his toys out the pram, and for good reason.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that dangerous when you got Conte as your manager.
Definitely.
If you're bringing him in as a manager, though, then you've got to back him. He's world class. You've got to give him the money. He's proven he can do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I say something that I'm a thing?
Yeah.
I want to give my opinion about it. And I'm going to say a couple of things about that. There's actually something that came up today in the Spanish newspapers about Adama, that ever since he left Barcelona when he was young, he always thought that he was going to come back. That is one of the things that he said in this interview. I think, in my opinion, it's not like, how can I say it, that anarchic kind of player as it is Dembele. Dembele could be lying around the pitch and not knowing what to do, or may not be that focused in a game. And I think what Xavi is going to ask Adama Traoré about staying in his position, which is wide, stay there, open the field, open it for the rest of the players, do the dummy run. That is what he needs, and I think Adama is going to be good on that. And I trust Xavi because I know he is really straightforward on letting his thoughts about all the wingers. And at the end of the day, I think Adama, everyone was surprised about the game he did against Atletico de Madrid. There was also a comment that, how was the comment? I was watching the game and I heard a comment about Adama not being very nervous crossing into the ball, making the runs. And it was fun because right after that comment, he did the assist to the goal, and he was like,
yeah, he heard you. Silence the doubters. But there was comments from Jorge Alessandro where he said, where is the talent? Where is the subtlety of dribbling? Where is the ability to dribble, going through with just strength? But what kind of football is that? Football is strength. Football is details. I don't like that. I see that as a soldier. I haven't seen the Premier League. He's a sub behind Chintiao. Do you think it's a bit? Do you think it's a bit harsh there, Reyes?
I think so, because I'm more part of the technique side. So, well, it is very hard. But was it this done during the weekend as well, or that was a long time ago?
No, this was yesterday. You said this.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
No, I was not aware about it, but we'll see what happens. And it's going to be probably change their minds.
Yeah, he's there.
Not having it, are you, guys? You're not having that. Not having that.
Another player that I'm sure surprised quite a few people that he again re-signed for Barcelona is Dani Alves. Have you seen why Xavi re-signed him? Do you think he's still got something to offer Barcelona, Jason? go for you first.
Yeah, I think we all saw that at the weekend. I think even before he played again, we all saw it. He's just a good crazy, isn't he? He brings an energy, a buzz, a vibe, whatever you want to call it. He brings something into the dressing room, and not only that, he backs it up with the way he plays. And we've seen in just the couple of times that he's pulled the shirt on, how suited he is, even at 38 years of age, to the way in which Barcelona play. He keeps it very simple, does his job exactly as he's. Compare him with Serginho Dest, who was brought in, and we thought he was going to be, a top player. And I've no doubt Dest is a great player, but he's not playing the Barcelona way. He's doing that thing that a lot of sort of wing backs try to do and keep beating players, going back. Keep it simple. That's what Alves does. Head up, pass the ball, getting position. Yes, he's had an unfair advantage because he played, obviously, for many years with Xavi, under Guardiola. So he knows the role much better than Dest. Dest is a young man. But no, I mean, for what he cost, which was nothing, for his wages, which is next to nothing, and even if it's only to the end of the season to help give him a leg up into the Brazilian national team for the World Cup, fantastic. I can't see a bad part to that deal. And what I loved as well when he scored the goal and how happy everybody was, and just the whole arms out to the crowd love him. Great song.
Too. That was amazing. How
happy was you when he scored Reyes?
I was feeling goosebumps here because I saw, and that's the kind of goal that Dani Alves is scoring. I mean, he does this kind of volleys. He did it a couple of times for Barcelona too, and he did that celebration in the past. I was happy for him, and I believe he's probably what we need in the team. That attitude. That it's not about being positive. It's about being energetic and bring that energy to the team. Everyone will follow him, and at the end of the day, I mean, he was probably the free man during the game against Atletico. You could see him along the side of Busquets because they were trying to do or number up with against Atletico de Madrid midfield, and they did it. They keep it simple, and that's what we need. Dani Alves is perfect for it, and maybe he can give a chance to Serginho Dest to become a great player. If he is willing to learn from Dani Alves, which we don't know nowadays with this modern football, which is more about economics. And
he's probably brought him in to help him. That's what always come across to me. Get Alves into Dest is struggling. Bring Dani Alves in, one of the best right backs that there's ever been. And we all know, like Jason said, what Dest could be. What better player to learn from than Dani Alves? It's perfect for me.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him join the coaching staff after this season as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And because if you look, he's the most decorated football player in history. He not only talks the talk, he walks the walk as well. He's got the trophies to prove it. So if you're trying to influence younger players, all you need to do is bring in your trophy cabinet and then say, there you go, that's why I'm here.
This is what you could have. But he's brought in for more than just playing, isn't he? He's definitely brought in for that sort of added experience. I've been there, seen it and done it, and if you want to ask any questions, I'm here. I'm the guy. But it's more on the pitch as well, because having a young manager like Xavi, he's going to need all the help he can get. Because I'm sure, even though he's well respected in Barcelona, there's always going to be someone that's going to try and push the buttons. Always going to be someone that's going to try and go against the grain. But when you've got leaders on the pitch like Dani Alves, who can back, like you said, can back it up with the trophy cabinet, you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that.
I think that applies to Busquets and PK as well, because there's often a lot of talk. I think they call it in Spain the Club de Amigos. So there's like this thing when Bartomeu was there, and it's like those players get in games all the time, and sometimes when they're not in form. But it's not just about in and out of form as well. It's the presence that they bring to the side when they play. There's no finer defender. Ramos possibly same level as PK. I think Xavi, I think any manager, they would know if those players were past, the players would know themselves. They'd hold their hands up and say, let the young stars come in. We've done our bit now. We've been at the top of our game for 14, 15 years. We've lost pace. We can see there's people in there ready to take our place, and they will take a step back. But at the moment, they're still brilliant.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Ferran Torres, another player that you brought in, must be happy at that deal. I was quite surprised considering he's not been at Man City very long. Very, very good player. Was doing well at Man City, but Barcelona have got that pull still. Surprised that you got him.
Do you want to answer this one, Reyes?
Well, you can go first. I'll let you go for it.
Okay. No, I mean I'm very happy because again, a young player, hungry player. That's what I like as much. The fact that there's the youth, so we're bringing down the age of the squad as a whole. Is you've got someone with a point to prove as well. Forget the money, the 55 million or whatever it was cost. Put that to one side, and you've got a young player there, an international player, a player that wants to prove himself, a player that wants to get in the Spain squad for the World Cup, and a player that really he needs to hit the ground running. The player that might have in the back of his mind he could be getting other players coming in the summer that will challenge him for a place as well. He doesn't want to be back how he was at Man City and be a player that gets a game every so often. He'll want to be a starter. So
you think that's why his head was turned towards Barcelona, because the Pep Guardiola ways, it's a big squad. There's a lot of superstars in that team, and if you want to win things, I've got to have these players in the squad, and you've just got to bide your time.
I think so. I think a lot of it as well is that not so much biding time. You've got to look as well at what's in front of you, and of any player, if they don't get the certain amount of minutes that they need, we look at Man City and we use Sterling as the example. We all thought Barca were going to go in for Sterling. And Sterling wasn't playing. You look at him now again, he's back to how he was a couple of seasons ago because he's playing those minutes.
Yeah.
We know footballers are all about confidence. And when they don't play, the confidence goes, the form drops a little bit, things don't tend to be going for them. So, no, I think he's probably looked at it and probably thought, well, Pep's not looking at me. I'm doing whatever I can every week in training. He's still not putting me on. I'm getting a game every 5 or 6 games. I'm a young man, not so much I can't afford to wait, but it's the World Cup as well. Don't forget, for every player at the minute that's got aspirations of playing for their country, they've effectively got half a season, because once it gets around to August, well, we're out on top of the World Cup then anyway. So what the players do in these next few months, I think, is imperative for them to get in the minds of their international managers. So I'm sure he's got that on his mind as well.
Yeah, I think there is an element of it's not just a case of. I think there is an element of not of being full to wait because of development. At his age, there is an element that he can't really afford to wait. He does need to be playing regularly. Yes, there is. You're going to have rotation. You're going to have dips in form, but right now, what's going to make him a better player is playing games and getting minutes, and sitting on the Man City bench and training with these superstars will only get you so far. He needs to play, so it is understandable. Reyes, happy about the signing of Ferran Torres? Big signing for the future.
I think it's a big signing, and the key man here is Luis Enrique. I'm sure about it. That his performances, the performances of Ferran Torres in the national team, playing in the Barcelona way, or at least how Luis Enrique played for when he was managing Barcelona, they are quite similar. And I think that was the main thought about bringing him to Barcelona, because he's gonna fit in the team. And Xavi, at the end of the day, what he needs is someone who can be moving along the 3 attacking positions, and that is what he did for the Spanish national team. And at the end of the day, he's the top scorer for Spain in the last couple of years. I think he scored more than 10 goals in and I don't think I'm really mistaken about it. I think it's a good sign. Very young guy. His attitude is very nice too. he had a couple of runs. He actually tried, and he scored a nice goal in his first game. So I can't complain about him. I think he's gonna put everything on his position, and he will do very well. And we've got a player. And even though we pay, or well, we haven't paid anything yet, but we will pay 50 million, 55 million. I think that's gonna end up in a good deal in the future anyway. Because he's still young, and let's say that we can sell him not in a couple of years, but when he is more adult, maybe on his 28, 29, then we might have a chance to get some money back. No, but I think it's a good sign.
I mean, the age he is now, if you can keep him to his 28, 29, I think you're probably going to get that 50 million back from his performances and whatnot. But yeah, no, definitely. Jason, what's going to happen with Dembele? Where is he off to? Surely he's not going to stay after all this back and forth, the woe is me situation with the contract, which no one really feels sorry for him about. If you're not going to buy into the Barcelona way at the moment, they're in a situation where you've got to sort of buy into it, be a part of it, or go. He's staying till the end of the season. Yeah. Is that it for him? Completely done?
You can never say never. If he has a decent half season now, I guess there's a chance he could stay. Personally, I wouldn't want him to, because I think he's far too injury prone. And even away from that, again, we've said about the attitude. But whoever wants him, I mean, he wants a 20 million euro signing on fee. He wants a 20 million euro fee for his agent, and he wants 400,000. He wants 400,000 a week. That sort of money is Mo Salah type money. And I'm sorry, the comparison between Mo Salah and Ousmane Dembele, there is no comparison. So where will he go to? I think Chelsea have got a chance because of the Tuchel connection. PSG, possibly, because obviously being French. I know Liverpool
could replace Mbappe, couldn't he?
I'd be very wary, because I think, again, it comes down to attitude. He can be a world-class player. We've seen it on occasions, but I suppose, again, that's the problem. We've seen it on occasions. A player that costs that much money is supposedly world-class, has got to be world-class every single week.
On a bad day, he needs to be playing a 7 if he's paying 120 mil for him.
There's not enough end product as far as I'm concerned. Goals, maybe you could argue that's not his forte anyway, but he's certainly got to be providing assists. It's his involvement. It's a lack of involvement. I used the example earlier on about Gavi. 7 years his junior, yet he's doing 10 times the work. And, that for me, just as football fans generally, all of us, all we ever want from our players or from the team we support is they come off the pitch and as a supporter, they've given everything. Whether they've had a good game or a bad game, you can accept that because they've tried their hardest. Dembele, I can't think of one single game where I thought he's come off that pitch and he's really given 100%. That to me, that's not a Barcelona player.
Are you surprised that he's even in the squad at the moment? It felt like when the contract negotiations broke down, it felt like from Barcelona's end, that was it. Like, you're done here. We're going to look elsewhere. We're going to bring through other people. There's no point in playing you because there's no long term there. Are you surprised that he's back in the squad?
I'm a little bit, but they've got to pay him anyway because obviously he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So if they're going to pay him, then they may as well. I don't know whether he'll start because I think potentially Adama is going to be starting in that position. But then he's a great backup option to have if he plays well. We just have to see. I think everyone wanted him to go. The club wanted him to go. He was never going to go. I knew that at the very beginning of the window. There was no way.
It doesn't suit him to leave now with 6 months left.
When he can move for free and get all that money as a signing on fee in 6 months, no, he's not going to leave. There's still rumours. I think they're quite truthful rumours that even now he's on his PlayStation or Xbox or whatever it is till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and he comes into training and he's not at it at training because he's been up half the night. Now, again, maybe that's me as being an old duffer, but
No,
you're being paid all that money at a club that demands and expects you to be at a very high level every week. There's no slacking off. And
where are the fans, Jason? Are they split?
Reyes might tell me otherwise, but I don't think so.
I mean, there's two here. We've got a 50-50 opportunity.
Yeah.
And Jason's firmly on the side of it's time to go.
On your bike.
Dembele, Reyes, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think he needed to go. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, he needs to go at the end of the season. And I don't know, guys, if you were aware about this. Probably this is something
exclusive.
Yeah, probably. You never know. But the last day of the window, Dembele's agent arrived to Barcelona. It looked like he was going to meet the Barcelona president to try to make a deal, no? So right after he walked out the door of the airport, one camera caught the phone of the agent.
Oh, yeah.
And Leonardo from PSG calling.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's just practically done. Dembele was in Paris a couple of days before that, so I think that's a deal done. I don't have any doubt about it. Because of the situation of his agent talking in a different way, Dembele looking like he wanted to stay, but then he wasn't strong enough to not fight or to talk straight or honest with his agent to say, I want to stay. I think that mentality, that sensation is not making him any well in the Barcelona supporters. And at the end of the day, his name was Whistle or Boo in the game the other day. So I don't feel like it's going to be good for him to stay.
There's no split in the camp.
No.
There's no split.
I just want to ask you, as like Barca to Barca, had he stayed, would you have been happy? Because again, me personally, when I heard the rumours that he might stay, and I was just like, really? I just want him out the door. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, I think Xavi believed in him quite a lot, but he probably realized that he's not the best player or the player that he's looking for that position. I'm relieved in a way of not keeping him longer than what his contract. And the reason is because we need to think in the way how we sign him. And that's the mentality that we need to lose. We need to bring our old mentality again. And probably Dembele is the last player of that mentality that made us make a big mistake. So I'm happy I'll be happy if he definitely goes. We'll see what happens. Sad that
Coutinho's another one, I suppose, as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Coutinho is another one, and I think he's doing well. I don't know how it's possible, but he's actually doing very well for Villa.
But it's because he's suited to the Premier League. Like, I know that you were saying, and I think as Jason said last time, he got found out a bit in the Liga. The Premier League's not as technical and tactical as that. Like, we like our players. If you can drop your shoulder, drop it onto your right and hit in the top bins, and you can do that past the player every week, we'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah.
It's one thing knowing what he's going to do. It's another thing being able to stop him. And
but that's what he can do in La Liga. He's a one-trick pony in the same way Arjen Robben was on the other side.
Yeah, but look how Robben's career. Look at what Robben did at Chelsea and then went to Bayern Munich.
Coutinho
no one could stop that, though, could they? You knew what he was going to do, but you couldn't stop it.
And I believe Coutinho will have a fantastic career back in the Premier League, but it's just in La Liga. That's all he had. Once the defenders doubled up on him, he couldn't get away with it, and therefore they were stationing him in different positions, which didn't suit his game. In fairness to him, so then he became, persona non grata. He just couldn't do it anymore.
Just quickly going back to just Dembele a minute. Something that obviously, because I was at the sharp end of the transfer window, when it came right to the end, I mean, I thought he was going. I think everybody thought he was going, and then Laporte come out and said, "We've given him one last option." What was that? What was that last option that he was given?
I don't know the specifics, but I think it was around in terms of bonuses and stuff like that. So obviously it would be to sign a new contract, obviously. The issue of, I think, a sticking point was the fact that they were trying to get him to sign a contract on lower wages. But I think you'll find with all the others that have the club that have signed on lower wages, there's deals in place that as the club starts to get money back in, that later on down their contract they'll be recompensed with more money. So normally you find as a contract runs down, like the wages might start coming down. This is going to be the reverse. The wages are going to start to go up for what the players are owed. So what they've done effectively says, we want to keep you, we're going to pay you, you're just going to have to wait for your money.
Right.
Yeah. Before we go, I did just see a thing that said Gerard Piqué advised Matthias de Ligt to reject Barcelona in 2019. He's laying it on thick. I feel like he's coming. I feel like de Ligt is going to be a Barcelona player. He's already saying, "Look what I did for you. I told you not to come in 2019 because you won't get any game time. But now is the right time for you."
I've been told he's leaving. I've been told he's leaving by someone who's a big Juventus nut. But
I know he's leaving Juventus. I know he's leaving. I can't tell you how I know.
100%. He's leaving.
But I don't know where he's going. I hope it's to us, but I don't know where he's going to end up.
All right. Well, that post is definitely going up now. Thank you very much for confirming that, Jason. All right. On that note, what a great show. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Jason.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure. See you soon.
No, we're definitely going to have to team you two up as well again. Thank you very much for joining us again, Reyes.
Likewise.
All right. And of course, my co-host tonight, Steve K.
Oh, yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant tonight. Listening to these two Barcelona experts. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Reyes. Brilliant.
All right. And of course, Stephen, thank you very much for joining us in the comment section. All right. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe, people. If you are watching on Twitter, come over to KS1 TV and smash the subscribe button. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you change your settings so we can see who you are in the chat. Otherwise, it's just an egg and Facebook user. I mean, we'll take that, but come on, show your face. All right.
It's not me.
Peace out, people. No, it's not. No, and look, Jason, I'm also the egg, mate. Like, I'm there as well. This is not a choice.
Why do you think I've got a cap on?
I had no other options. It's bald or nothing. Look at that. Look at that. You've got the old David Platt out. Beautiful.
Reyes, you ain't got no worries, mate. You must come on here just to look at us three.
Yeah, Bobby Charlton. Yeah, look at that. I love it. All right. On that note, peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.